Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's do a review of Macherie, the Christmas version. And then this is the first level 79 all skills review that I'm going to do. And before it was the Trust Master plus all skills review, but those were all SSR units or lower rarity. This is going to be my first review of a ultra rare unit. And then I'm only going to level 79, not 99. Because once you get beyond level 79, it just takes too much, I would say, for a free-to-play or even a dolphin to go beyond that level. But the star level we max out, of course, because we can do that for any of the characters at any time. But for the crystals, it's difficult to go beyond 3 crystals, especially for limited time ultra-rare characters, because their shards are just not that available. And then, of course, after the time is up, they're not available at all. But even for non-limited ultra-rare units, to go from 3 crystals to 5, you would need another 10 drops, I think. And then you only need 6 drops to get to this point. So yeah, the hurdle is just too high to go beyond here. But if you get to 3 crystals, you can get up to level 79 max. And then you can also get all your jobs up to level 12. And then that will give you full access to all of the skills on the board. So I think level 79 is a perfectly good place to stop for ultra-rare units. But this is a Xmas Mashulie. She's the only limited-time ultra-rare unit that I have, and I've skipped all the rest. So I don't have Thancred, I don't have Ramza or Orlandu or Christmas Ramada. And then I purposefully skip all of those characters. But Xmas Mashulie, she kind of just dropped into my lap. I pulled her on Christmas Eve. They gave her the free 10 shot and I got her, so I was like, okay, fine. And then I purchased the rest of her shards in the shop. And yeah, just check for the daily logins. And then I got enough shards in order to get her to crystal level 3. So that's where she is here. And she's actually a very interesting character. Her role is attacker. That's basically all you're going to be using her for. She's not going to be as easy or kind of overpowered as like Shuteru or Mediana, but her damage output will be very high, and then she kind of specializes in ranged attacks and then also single target attacks. So she's not going to hit a bunch of guys at once like Mediana. And then she has a few attacks that are like delay attacks that take some time to get out. So yeah, for that reason she's not as easy to use, but I think she's a lot of fun. I'm a fan of Dragoons, and also ranged attacks are very important in this game, so she's pretty great. But looking at her stats, HP is so-so at 2000. It's better than 1500 or something, which we see some other characters at this level have. Attack is good at 386. That's not as high as some other attackers, like Gafgarion, who is a SSR, has like 500 or higher attack. But the thing with Dragoons is that their multipliers on their jump more than make up for that lack of pure stats, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. Speed is a little slow at 52, so she's not going to be able to act as often as other characters, but still, that's pretty good. And then luck is pretty high at 170. This is one of the more esoteric skills, but luck raises the chance of critical hits. That's pretty important for her as a Dragoon. It also raises the chance of her counterattacks, and it might raise the chance of her evading attacks, which also works well with her kit, so that's a good stat to have. Move is average at 3, but jump is 4. Which is very interesting. It doesn't raise the number of spaces that she can go, but she can ignore like more types of terrain. So hopefully I can show that off later, and then we can look at how powerful that is. Trust Master here is the decorative ribbon. Raises HP and defense and spirit, that's pretty good. And then a critical, which works with her skill set. No passive abilities. Does have an active ability though, where it can raise the AP, which is like MP in this game, of herself and then people around her. That's okay. I wouldn't kill myself to get this Trustmaster. Okay, next let's look at her 3 jobs. She has Dragoon, that specializes in jumps, of course, but also draining enemies. And then she has Viking, which is good for like strong, short range attacks. And then also self buffs. She has some of the best self buffs in the game. And then last is Hunter. This is good for ranged attacks. And next, let's look at her ability board. And then we'll look at her ability sets. So her always on skills are these Dragoon skills. She has the regular jump. And then here, this is a self buff, raise her attack. And then these TP skills are important because you can use them at any time as long as you have TP points. And then as you use them, you will raise your AP points, which your gauge starts at 0. So these TP skills are important for that. In addition to jump, she has this super jump. And then this one is better, I would say, in every way than the regular jump. It has the same range, but it does more damage. Big as opposed to medium here. And then for the cost, it is a little bit more costly. It costs 8 more there. And then the wait time here, 120 for the super jump, 160. So this actually comes out faster than the other jump. And then one other big difference is that the height difference, which you can use this. For the regular jump, it's 2. For the super jump, it's 5, so you can hit characters much higher or lower than you with this super jump, so this is preferred. The next jump she has is a Dragon Dive. This can hit multiple guys at once. This is her only jump that can do this. But the wait time is pretty comparable, 140, 120, 160. It does cost quite a bit more at 28. And then finally, this is her, I don't know what you would call this, her horizontal jump. But this also does great damage, has a short wait time, and then doesn't cost as much AP. The one catch, however, though, is that it has a height rating of 0. So you have to be on the exact same height as your target in order to be able to use it. So it's kind of limiting in that way, but it's kind of fun to think how you can position your guy in order to get that attack out. And a very far range as well, so yeah, kind of an interesting mix of jumps for different situations. And then her Dragoon as a sub-job, she also gets this like a brave debuff. This is another TP skill, so you can use this at any time. And then here, this is a self-buff, raise your jump and move +1. That's pretty good. But if it's just these 2 skills, I don't know if it's worth using the Dragoon as the sub-job. I would more recommend one of these other ones. Viking as a sub-job is very interesting. Here's another self-buff, attack and defense up, but evade down, so got to keep that in mind. This is a piercing attack, which also gives the don't move status effect, so in particular situations, this could be useful. Here's another self-buff, raise your brave, that's always helpful. Here is the one distance attack that the Viking has. This does pretty good damage, and then also has a high rate of a critical hit, so this is pretty cool. Not too expensive either. And then here, this is a single panel distance attack, so close range only. It does super big damage, as we can see here, but it costs a lot of AP, so yeah. You'll have to kind of charge this up. This would be like a mini limit break here. And then her final sub-job, which might be my favorite, is the Hunter. This gives her more ranged attacks, but these are also take some time to charge up. First one here is Charge. It can hit this pretty far range. It does take a long time to get out, however, and it's kind of expensive as well. But you can hit a lot of range here, so that's cool. Here, this might be her best ranged attack, but we can see that it hits a bunch of guys at once. It does cost a lot of AP, however, but there's no wait time. It can come out right away. High charge, this is another attack which takes some time to charge up. Not as much though, actually, and then does maybe a bit more damage, so that's a good attack. Here, this is another distance attack. Takes no time to get out, so that's handy. Poison Arrow, small amount of damage, but for 3 turns will do set damage. This could be good in certain situations, but usually probably don't want to use it. And then another self buff. This will raise your evade, but lower your defense. So if evade is what you want, then you can use this. Okay, and then passive skills. Here is concentration. This will lower the speed of your charge up. So this is great for both the Hunter attacks and the Dragoon attacks. It also raises the attack of your projectile attacks. That won't work for Dragoon, but it will work for the Hunter skills. Still worth equipping though for your jumps though, I think. Another passive skill, this raises your range by 1. That's very, very powerful. You can use that for both the ranged attacks and the jumps. And then other passive skills she has, jump +1, HP up, HP and attack up, but the AP points that you get will be down, so that could be limiting in some ways. And then this one here raises defense against projectile attacks. Not usually that helpful, but maybe in certain stages. And then for reaction abilities, I have this one equipped. This raises your evade against all types of attacks. She also has this Dragoon counterattack, which will have a little bit of distance and then drain HP. And then this one's interesting. This is her Viking counterattack. But she can restore her own HP, get an attack buff, but she also goes into Berserk mode for 3 turns, where you can't control her. So if you're feeling lucky, maybe you can use this one. And then Limit Break. This is a short range attack, which will raise her defense as well. That could be useful. And then Master Ability, raise the ice defense +10, and then speed +10%, which is pretty important for her. And then, if we look at her other skills in detail, we can see that she has greater defense against slash and magic attacks, but lower defense against blunt and projectile. And then extra defense against ice characters. So in particular, that would be like Gilgamesh and Mediana. She is a fire element, but she's weak against water, so Christmas Ramadan. Innate defense against paralysis, don't move, and then whatever this is. Alright, and then she can equip spears, armor, helms. Looking further at equipment, most recently there was this dragon horn spear, which you could farm. I worked it up almost to max, but still, attack is kind of low at 54. But it does have Dragon Slayer, and then some pierce damage in there. She can also use armors like the iron plate, leather plate, and then these helmets, and then of course accessories. And then for vision cards good for her, you want pierce damage up of course, since she is a spear user, so this rare card could be good. Raises her speed as well, so that's nice. This could be a good card for her. Also good would be this uncommon card. This will raise your projectile attacks, so if you want to focus on that aspect of her, that would be good. And then there is this SR card, which is pretty easy to get. This shortens the time it takes for your charge-up attacks, so that might be good for her. It does lower her defense, however, so be careful about that. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to talk about Xmas Mashulie there. Next, let's take her to a quest. Okay, let's do a little something different here. Usually I just go to the first story mission, that very, very early stage against the 2 wolves. But we're going to go to this EX stage instead here, where there's a lot of distance and a lot of elevation changes, so this might be an interesting one to look at. And then we'll take her solo. Shouldn't be a problem since she's level 79. But here, for example, we can ignore this jump here, so let's go up there. Let's use a TP skill in order to fill the AP gauge. We can use this one, which is a self-buff for attack. And then I have the Hunter sub-job, so this will give me some more ranged attacks. Okay, so here we can see that, yeah, we just have the 3 movement, but since we have so much jump, we can, you know, skip all of these panels here. A lot of the other characters in the game, they would have to move here, and then here, and then here. And then that would be 3 moves that they do. But since Xmas Mashulie can jump so high, she can skip those 2 panels, keep going, skip these other panels, and then go all the way up here. So let's do that. And then let's see what other attacks she has. So I've used 1 TP skill, so then all of my AP skills are usable, except for this this one here. This one's too expensive. But let's see what we have available. Here's Charge. This is her real basic projectile attack. So we can target that guy there. But yeah, with this high elevation, we get all of these squares available to us to attack, so that's very cool. What else we got? We got High Charge. That looks like that has that same range, okay, but more damage, and then less waiting time. And let's see, Nenaiuchi, which one is this? This is just another ranged attack, but this one comes out immediately. You see a similar range here, so that's cool. And for how much damage? Almost 1,000. That's pretty good for a super ranged attack like this. Next, here is the regular jump. So we can see these squares are available. Next, let's look at the super jump. So yeah, we have more squares available because we have more elevation available. It's still the 2 panels away. But now we're able to target this guy here because of the extra elevation. Let's see, next is a Dragon Dive. So we get some area of effect, kind of a similar range. And then finally we have the Horizon Jump, which I can target nobody right now because nobody's on my same elevation. But if we look up here, we can see the order in which the jumps will come out. So we can look at this and then see if a enemy is going to move away before our jump comes down. We can see that this jump will come out soon enough that we'll be able to hit the character, so that's good. Okay, but in this case, let's do the super jump. Okay, and then here, we can only select the panel, not the unit. Jumps are not allowed to target units. You can only select panels. So if the character moves out of there, then we will miss the jump. But we were able to pull off the jump before the character moved away, so we took him down, did 1,000 damage. It's pretty good. And then here, let's check the elevation of these characters. So 8, 8, 2, 2, 1. Okay, so we have to be at the same elevation if we want to attack them with the Horizon Jump. Okay, we're back here in familiar territory. Next, let's look at her projectile skills, her hunter skills. So here is Nenaiuchi. This is the ranged skill, which takes no time to get out. But that's all we have available except for the high charge. This does take time. So let's use a TP skill. Okay, and we'll wait. Okay, so now we have more of the range skills available. So here is high charge again, 1,000 damage. poison arrow. That's only 600, but will poison for 3 turns. Actually, I'd like to see how much poison damage it does, but it would take down the wolf in 1 hit, so we'll forget about that. Let's use one more TP skill. And wait. Okay. Alright, and then let's attack here. Oh, and then because Macherie is equipped with a spear, she can equip from 2 panels away, which is very, very nice. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, then finally let's use this one. This is a ranged attack which hits multiple characters. And then here, we can see that the wolf is actually not within my range of the shot itself, but it's within the range of the area of effect. So let's use that. So yeah, we can see lots of shots come down in that area. So that's a very nice area of effect attack. It is pretty expensive, however. Okay, finally, let's look at her Viking attacks. I'm kind of interested to see this. And then as she uses skills from different jobs, her weapon changes. I don't know if you noticed her spear become an axe there, but that's kind of a cool effect. Okay, so we have more attacks here available. Let's use... Well, this is her ranged attack. Let's use that one. Okay, let's use that. Okay, so there too her spear changed into an axe, and then she threw the axe, and that was nice damage. I want to use that super expensive, like, short range attack, but we gotta save up some AP, so... Okay, so now I have enough for this super attack, so let's get a couple panels away. Let's use that. No, sorry, this is a single range attack, so we'll get right next to the guy, and then we'll use it. Okay, 1700, 1800, that's really strong. Let's use that. But it's a panel attack, and it takes time to get out. Okay, so it's like a supercharging attack, which is only 1 panel away, but does a lot of damage. That's very cool. Okay, so that was Xmas Mashulie. An attacker, first and last, and kind of fun to use, I would say. Got some tricky, like, timing things, and then some distance things as well. Maybe not as easy to use as Shuteru and Mediana, but pretty powerful. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.